In the most barren of desert lands, and underneath the sheer blaze of the sun was a blooming flower that only met a seldom rain. A blooming flower that was crushed by the heavy boots of a man, and by all appearances ceased to be. And as day longed for night, sandy alkali deserts breathed the coyote wail which reverberated in the mountains, in perpetua, ricocheting from every precipice, calling to the most heavy moon. Night bled deeper, sponging up light and life, or transmuting it as a nocturnal world sprung to life. The coyote's silhouette serenaded the glowing orb, call and response for things we were unable to perceive. As we continued our journey, the shadow dancing these vertices paused for intermittent interlude, only to resume its pace which desired our parallel. As he frolicked atop these sentinels, meandering like the rattlesnakes that hid below, he cloaked stars. He kept us in his sights. And thus a bouquet of butterflies formed inside my abdomen, flitting to and fro, pensive for what the future may herald. It is a wonder that we had travelled this far in such an old decrepit car, almost baited to the heart of the desert. And as our car choked out exhaust, the wheels came to a halt and camp must be made. Merriment and joy were sustained by the openness, the stars, the music, and the new places to be discovered. The wind whispered secrets, as it so often does, to the desert sands which danced in harmony, though opposingly, as these wide open spaces of nowhere had grown cold and empty. The cool of the night was in juxtaposition to the melting heat of the day, and thus firelight was sought to bathe in. And so an abandoned oil drum, which had been repurposed to enkindle, was employed, enabling us to bask in the warmth of its thermal radiation. Songs were cast into the air with joy and merriment. Time stood still for me, and I pierced to gaze into something between time or outside of it. I'm not quite sure. The joy and laughter had muted the prairie wolf, but another beast was to appear as time stood still for me. As those flames splashed out of that old drum, I could smell the air was thick with rum. Flame launched into the air and warmed our bodies with naught a care. The dancing flames enshrouded an icy stare, and I saw beyond the flames a beast lurked there, with glowing eyes that sought a prize. He called my names, and he tried his best of incantations, which quickly transmuted to lamentations. They did not pierce my flesh, not one bit. They didn't dent and didn't dint. His chains blinkered against the fire. My soul, or lack thereof, was his desire. His boots flicked up dust, which suspended in proximity. His smile was a grimace that could carve into beings with discordant tones, could make one queasy, yet he could not broach me as he wished to do. He came to sow seeds of doubt and self-loathing to tarnish my already fractured mind. Did he not realize I had been broken to the point of non-existence, where you live each day as a shell in neither purgatory nor hell? The fuel tank is empty, there is nothing to give. I lay numb and only accompanied by the tick of the clock. Boy, I'ma break you, drag you to the depths of the earth, where you'll know only pain, make you feel lower than low. I'm going to crush you and fire you, Jekyll and hide you. Entertainment, my plaything, suffer an invisible pain, a mark on your soul, enjoy your disdain. I bind you. I'll come back for you, he said with his evil grimace. I could see only part of his face as the rest was hidden by a black Stetson hat. But I felt the absence of life, the emptiness, the turmoil, the void, taunted. In all my frailty I was too strong for him, though try as he might, he could not scare me. He could not intimidate me, though his silhouette grew loud and strong, yet faded with the dimming fire. And time stood still for that one moment, while friends toasted marshmallows and laughed and sung, to guitar strings dancing in hand. As they breathed organized sound, and they had not a clue that I flirted with the djinn. And he tried to make me his plaything, yet try as he might, he could not win. And it was he who was fated to be fated, because I had a strength that I possess, a quiet strength. I would prevail, unbound and set free. In the most barren of desert lands, and underneath the sheer blaze of the sun, a flower was crushed by the heavy boots of a man. But you see, the desert flower had grown strong roots. It was broken, superficially, at surface level, but it continued to be. Light gives and light takes. It survived for its natural death. Not at the boots of a man in this barren, void desert land. It was different in form and nature, but its roots were strong and remained. It survived.